think they're planning to put down seating today, and then they'll get out of that front end there.
Yeah,
So.
as long as they level it out, put something down.
Now they got a mat going down.
Yeah.
Until spring.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I talked to them, because they're gonna wait till spring, and I said, no, we need that now.
So we get that done, it looks like Haas is gonna do, what are we gonna do, some paving tomorrow on Opposite Street.
Yeah.
Hopefully they get that done too. Their engineer's pessimistic on whether they're gonna finish or not, but you need to get at least part of it paved, and you need to pour the concrete to get me in and out of the sheriff's parking lot.
At least get the binder down.
And I think that's about all they're shooting.
That's all you really need to do.
Morning, Chuck. Thank you.
Morning.
I believe so.
How are you today?
Good. How are you?
Good. And let's see, I don't think Randy and Ryan said they weren't gonna be here.
Right.
Let me get the agenda out. Okay, I'll call this October 28th property meeting to order at 8:03. I'll confirm that open meeting law requirements have been met. Stapled to our agenda was a list or a copy of the previous minutes from the meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, motion, and we have motion to approve and second. Anybody see any corrections or changes they need to be made on these minutes? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor of approving the minutes from the previous meeting signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, if any of you are watching this or listening to it, we now would have a public comment period. The number you can call is 715-538-1770. So I'll give you a few minutes to do that. While we're waiting, we'll move on. Okay, go ahead.
All right, so we've handed out a spreadsheet here with some totals. Last time we talked to you about these contractors, we didn't have totals shaken out because we wanted to deal with some value engineering. Some of the line items that are in here have been rebid, and there's been some savings that's already realized in the base bid amount to the tune of about $600,000. You can see that the value engineering items that are on the other side are about another 600 grand. So altogether, we found about at $1.2 million. We still have process of looking for more funds in regards to savings. We met with the contractors on earlier this week, and then we met with the design team. We do have a list of potential changes in scope that will be happening over the course of the next couple of weeks. But what we need to do is we need to get these contractors that are on this list under contract because they have a compliance date in regards to the 45 days for their bids to be honored. So we're looking for action today to get that contract process underway. We have LOIs out to a couple of them. The balance would be getting contracts, and then the contracts would then work with us to be able to find some additional scope dollars that are available. The scope changes would involve us going back to some staff in regards to some potential changes in the project. We have not included the staff yet, so that process would need to happen with the sheriff and his staff, the judge and his staff in regards to some of the scope that may need to be adjusted. The potential value engineering items that are on the right side here really don't have anything to do with reducing scope. It's a matter of changing some materials. It's a matter of procurement of some items, and then we would further look for value engineering beyond this. Again, we were still targeting that $4 million reduction. Right now, we've found about $1.2 million. We have a potential of about another $1.5 million that were on the table based on our discussions the other day. So we're creeping up towards that $3 million mark. That last $1 million is probably going to be what's difficult in regards to scope reduction, when we're going to have to look at some significant changes. I think we're able to find the balance of this to get to $3 million without too significant of changes. That last $1 million is going to be something that we're going to have to take a hard look at, some scope reduction. But the action that we're looking for you to take place today is to authorize us to move forward, get these contractors under contract, and then we would obviously get that done by the end of the day tomorrow. And then in 2 weeks, I would like to set our next meeting date to look at the balance of these VE items and where we're at progress-wise. We've got until about the end of November for the second bid process before we have to award them, but I would like to meet with you a couple weeks before that, just to give you an update on progress. We may need you to take action at that point, so I think a follow-up meeting would probably take place that week of November 15th. So,
As long as we're talking about time, but I'm sure there's other questions, maybe we could do it the morning before our annual meeting. Would that make sense, on the 9th?
Because we have an all-day meeting on the 10th.
okay, the 9th I'm out of state, so
Oh,
I was
okay,
hoping
then we won't do it
I was
then.
hoping the week of the 15th.
Oh,
Okay, that'll-
It's a whole nother week.
Oh, let's see, that's the wrong calendar.
See Randy's on.
What's that?
Randy.
Yeah, Randy's
I got
up,
it.
yep.
Hey, Randy.
Hello, Randy.
Hi.
So you need I'm going to have a question. Well, maybe I'll ask the question
Sure.
right away. You have, Kurt, on this list, the list that you handed out today that's dated 10/27, you have fewer contractors than
The other ones were bid pack 1. Those were bid pack 1 that you already awarded. We just wanted you to see a summary of that, okay? So the one we gave you before had
Okay.
bid pack 1 that was in there, and right now, we're only looking to award these ones. So it'd be these contractors and bid pack 1. So when we had you take action on bid pack 1, and when we had you we're asking you to take action on these, there are still a list of contractors. There's still additional contractors that are in that second bidding that we need to work through value engineering processes to bring you the completed list of contractors. So you're gonna end up having like that number 25 that we had before. They'll end up being 25. It's just not right now. We're only giving contracts to these contractors right now. And then later on in November is when we'll look to award the balance of those other contractors.
Balance that we see on this sheet.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep, correct.
So I should be comparing the list of October 7th to today's list, I think. I'm just looking not make sure, to reassure myself that that all the pockets are getting filled out.
Yes.
I mean, all the slots are being filled. So on the list of 10/7, there were 11 contractors, and we acted to award those contracts.
Those, we had you take action for LOIs, letters of intent to go through the VE. We've accomplished that, and now we're asking you to take action to award the contracts. So letter of intent and the contract is what we're doing. So back on 10/7, the LOIs were to have us work on the VE. Now we're to the point where we need to award the contracts.
So you do not need an LOI for the list that you handed out today. There are 5 more people, 5 more contractors on today's list.
The ones on today's list, we're looking for you to give us approval to award the contracts.
All right, I'll move to award the contracts to these, I believe it's 16? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, it was 16 I counted too.
Yep.
16, Chuck?
Yep.
All right, to these 16 contractors on the list dated October 27th.
Perfect.
And I'll second that.
Okay. Are there any further questions or any further discussion? Anyone else have any questions for Kurt? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so that motion would pass then.
So I do want to give you an update kind of on overall schedule. You'll see that there's still concrete being poured on the footings and foundations. What will happen with these awards is we're going to look to mobilize the mason as soon as possible. We do need to go through the ODIP process, so that means they've got some paperwork that needs to get filed. Jaya has already started that process. We anticipate that all of that will be done here by the end of the week, and then you'll start to see the masons mobilize, which are obviously going to look at block walls starting to go up. The mechanical and electrical will also start to come on board to be able to deal with their underground. So they'll start doing underground plumbing, underground electrical. So you'll see underground work taking place, and you'll start to see block going up. Your issuance or your approval today will start the shop drawing process for the steel and the precast, which is other structural members. So really what we're doing is we're moving forward with the structural components so that we keep the schedule intact, while the other items that haven't been awarded outside of the MEPs is some of our interior finishes. Those are the areas where we're going to look to find some dollars. We started talking about some of the stone that may change, some of the glasswork, fire-rated glasswork that may change. We did chat with them briefly in regards to some of these electrical feeders that may change, that really won't change the function of the building. It may change the appearance of the building slightly, but not to a point where it's significantly altered. And those are the areas where we're trying to find the low-hanging fruit through this next course over the next month to find those dollars, because we have the month of November before we have to award some of those interior contractors. So we're doing everything we can to find some money. Want to assure you of that without compromising the quality and the performance of the building. So
all the concrete work will be done before frost?
all the footing and foundation work, there's slab work or flat work that won't happen until next year. So the block walls will go up, we'll start to build the structure, and then you'll see that.
But then
our-
inside the building,
Yep,
some
flat works and
slabs
stuff like that will happen
have to
next
be-
year.
Okay.
Yep. Yep.
Anyone else have any questions for Kurt?
Kurt, how many contractors, could you go over the, if not the number, I think you described, you said interior contractors are the ones that are still missing? Is it-
Yes.
Can you list them?
So we
I'm
still.
trying to learn as much as I can about building a jail here.
Absolutely. So let's just walk through so you can kind of get a feel for what we've done here. These are all the ones that we bid first go around, and precast masonry, that's all kind of self-explanatory. Roofing gives us our structure. The doors, frames, and hardware component, that's the materials. Now, we're awarding that because what we've had is, if you rebid those materials now, those prices are going up. So there may be components in these material doors and frames where we find VE, it'll just be a deduct from this contract if we get to that point. The tiling, that is an interior finish that we may reduce some of their scope, but we don't want to lose the bid dollar because we may rebid it again and find out that we get less scope, and we don't want to do that. So there may be some reductions in the tiling. The terrazzo flooring, that terrazzo flooring is in the lower level in the main area and up on the corridor on the second floor. Food and laundry equipment, we're actually looking at potentially reducing how much of that equipment is put in there, but that's for the jail in regards to the food and laundry that's there. Detention equipment is all of your steel door frames, everything related to jail detention. There's frames, there's furniture that's in the detention side. And then the fire protection, plumbing, HVAC controls, electrical, and security electronics is all your mechanical and electrical. Ones that aren't included in here, we do have studs and drywall package, which would be all of our exterior studs and interior studs, drywall finishes. There's a ceiling contractor that's out there in regards to the ceilings that aren't detention grade. We still have other flooring outside of the terrazzo, so there's an entire flooring finish contractor that we're still pending changes there. We have the carpentry package and the concrete flatwork package that we're looking at options in regards to savings of colored concrete versus polished concrete. The carpentry package in regards to what we can save in regards to minimizing or removing some plywood and putting that in with Den's glass. So we still have carpentry that's out there. We still have a landscaping number that's out there. We still have some infrastructure for the AV controls that we're looking at in regards to some savings throughout the facility. So right now, there's 16 contractors you've approved. We've got about 9 to 10 more that we're still waiting that will be coming to you for a list in November.
Is Fowler and Hammer still the concrete and carpentry?
Right now they are the low. We have qualified, they have all the scope covered. We're looking at value engineering options with them as well to find their number and see if we can find additional savings on that carpentry package.
And the biggest number in the bidding, the largest dollar amount is $5,700,000 and change. B&B Electric, are they doing all the electric?
So B&B bid 3 categories, 26, 27, and 28. 26, 27, and 28 is the, I'm sorry, just 26, 27, they had the, all the electrical, main electrical, they had all the low voltage, and they also had all the audio-visual components. So they had the entire package in, and a generator, emergency generator. So everything's associated with electrical. B&B was the one who was awarded that contract.
I have no more questions.
You've got some good contractors here. These are contractors that we worked with in the past. You've got a good contractor list here.
Is there potential savings yet in the remodeling of this part?
Yeah, we're gonna look at that scope, absolutely. I mean, we're looking at any and all ways to find some savings.
That's where you could make some pretty big change, some substantial changes to save some dollars
Correct.
if you needed to.
Yep,
Depends on how far we want to go with what the departments are asking.
correct. And again, there's also options here that we will meet with the sheriff and the judge in regards to ways where we can save some money. So,
Okay, anything else for?
be a work in progress.
Okay, so then our next agenda item is items for the next meeting, and that would be to approve more of the,
I would just say, you know, what you have for the awards, you can almost keep the same agenda.
Okay.
Value engineering, you know, those sorts of things. I mean, it would be nice if we could target that week of November 15th. Maybe like that Thursday, again, if we stuck with a Thursday, like the 18th, I don't know if that would work.
yeah, the 18th is a Thursday. Well, actually, that week, if you wanted to go, we could go on Tuesday, because that's the week after our county board meeting. Because our meeting is on the 9th.
The personnel bargaining is in here. It's
Oh,
already
okay.
scheduled. Well, it's at 9 o'clock.
Okay, I guess
so-
I'm not looking at the calendar.
Yeah, I've got, if they're.
On what day, Tim?
The 18th at 9 o'clock, so if we got in here at 8, we could probably be out of their way. in
Okay.
time.
If Tuesday works,
18th, the 16th won't
Tuesday,
work
I
for
would,
me.
well,
well.
the 16th won't work for you,
The
okay?
18th would work.
18th?
Yeah.
How's that for you?
18th's fine for me.
Yeah, I don't think any of these, none of the committee members, property committee members, none of them are on personnel bargaining, so they don't have to.
Okay, but he can't make the 18th anyway.
I
so-
thought he suggested the
The
18th.
16th I can't, the 18th
Oh,
I
the
can.
16th you can't, yeah. The 16th he cannot, the Tuesday.
Do you want an 8 AM or do you want it later?
8 o'clock works for me.
How does that work for you, Randy?
On the 18th, you're talking now?
Yes.
8 AM.
Okay, and at 8 o'clock in the morning, I can make that.
Okay, so should we set that meeting then for November 18th at 8 o'clock in the morning?
Sounds good? I'll try to dodge a deer again like I did this morning.
They weren't out, were they?
Yeah, they were.
Now, the rut will be over by the 18th. Well, if we could go a week later, then they would all be
You don't
shot.
have a-
Yeah, hopefully
Property
people will
meeting.
thin them out.
I can't hear you, John.
Is that the only meeting you're having, is the 18th? There is no regular proper meeting in between?
Yeah, okay, I guess that's another, as a property
Yeah.
committee, because we need to start bringing some of our people back in for their reports.
Well, I mean, that would be about the usual time of a property.
Yeah, that would
committee
be the
meeting.
normal,
That'd
yeah.
be the normal time, so we could just add to the agenda.
Okay, so, let's see, what do we need then? Jeremy's
Jeremy,
update?
Whatever, I don't know what else is happening.
Tim, yes. We can add those two to that meeting then also then. I'll get that to Paul. Okay, any other items that we need to discuss?
Nope, not from us. Thanks for working with us on this. We'll get through it.
Any of the other committee members have anything they'd like to bring up at this point? Okay, hearing none, then we'll adjourn the meeting at 8:20.
That's the way all meetings should be.
Get in, get it done, right?